They roll out, looking for someone, decides to keep it. Last minute gives off, but incomplete. That was the total weather conditions. The snap wasn't the greatest, hard to handle with a wet ball. But the score at the 5:20 mark of the opening period of the 1994 state championship game, the John Handley Judges go 40 yards in 10 or so plays to put it on the board 6-0.
Yeah, on that two-point try, the snap was low. Westfall mishandled it, picked it up, rolled out right, did a good job, looked like he was going to run, and then he spotted Michael Partlow in the end zone, threw the ball, but they said that Westfall was out of bounds before the pass was released, so the two-point conversion no good. Handley up 6-zip. They controlled the line of scrimmage there in that first 10 or 11 plays, dominating the defensive line of the Gate City Blue Devils, pushing them back. Kern, 5 carries, 17 yards. Brian Partlow, 2 for 6, 24 yards. Michael, his receiver, 2 catches for 24 yards. So they've mixed it up well on their first offensive pass plays and running game. That's what the Handley offense wants to do. They've taken the lead for the 4th straight contest here in the playoffs and lead at 6-zip.
Harper will kick off with the 6-0 lead. Back deep, the Claybaugh brothers, number 2 and number 6, Matt and Hank respectively. I believe Hank bobbled the opening kickoff, and Handley pressed them inside the 5. They kick it away. Again, he runs right through it. It's inside the 5 where he's got to pick it up, and he heads off field at the 10-15 and knocked out of bounds about the 17-yard line by the judges. Jerome Brooks over there for the John Handley Judges. As the day goes on, the white jerseys become faded with a lot of dirt from the mud. And we'll see Gate City, Craig, how it will affect. They like to run it right at them, right up the gut. The coach, Nick Calobro, looking for win number 100 in first state championship. Gate City has 2 of them, and John Handley going for their 2nd. 2 deep zone for the Judges. They give to Gibson the fullback. Ball is loose, and Handley has it. The lineman recovered, and there you are. Looks like the Orange game. A score and then a recovery. Andy Vipperman comes up with the bobbling fumble for the John Handley Judges, and it's 1st and 10. The potent attack at the 30-yard line of Gate City. Looks like a familiar tune, Craig. That's Andy Vipperman's.
Gate City now bobbled 2 on the opening kickoff, and then this last kickoff, and now their first play from scrimmage. Gibson's popped by the defensive line of Handley and fumbled.
Back to pass. They're going to go right at him, across the middle on the slant. Partlow just dropped the ball. The pass was there. Hands become slippery. Field is all muddy, and he just couldn't hang on. Handley leads at 6-0, 4:55 in the opening quarter.
On the turnovers last week, they took advantage of them and scored early and often en route to that 38-point victory, 38-8 last week, and they continue to do that. That's what they want to do early on right now.
Partlow calling the play at center. At the left side of the field, his center is Kevin McKinley. Trey Kerr in the back. Receivers, the familiar left-to-right formation. 4 men on the line of scrimmage. They look to give to Kern. Doesn't get much inside the... Actually, it was a fake, and it faked me. Partlow keeps and moves upfield to the left. Partlow on the keeper, and he did his job faking out my own self, and Partlow on the keeper picks up some yardage for the John Handley Judges, where the ball is up around the 10-yard line now. Bring up... 9, so it's short. 3rd and 1 from just outside the 10-yard line. Partlow on the fake, Kern, keeper around the left side.
Definite advantage for the offense. They know where they're going with the football on this muddy field today.
Partlow barking out the signals. Drops, looks on the crossing pattern, caught by Westfall. Touchdown, John Handley Judges. Just like that, they strike on the passing pattern. Westfall and Michael Partlow with the high fives. The John Handley Judges now lead it 12-0, and it's 4:42 in the first quarter. So it looks like it's starting out like the other three games. Handley taking control early, taking a slow, methodical drive of 40 yards, trying to feel out the wet field conditions, and they score. Now they come back with a fumble recovery, and now they take advantage of that and score off the turnover with the Westfall touchdown. On the crossing route over the middle, the slant. Now John Handley's going to go for two to try to even it up. Partlow rolls left, keeps it, but it's going to be short of the goal line. Stopped by a host of Gate City tacklers. First quarter score with 4:42 to go. The John Handley Judges lead it 12. The Gate City Blue Devils, nothing. So right away, the kick receiving team has caused the Blue Devils all kinds of fits this afternoon here in Gate City. A good 6-7 hour drive down from Winchester. Looked like Partlow was injured on that last play, or the series. He
came up, it looked like holding his arm on the run play when he faked it. He's down on the bench now, being attended to by the trainers of the Handley Judges.
Coach Linden looks over to him. They've got a 12-point lead. Philadelphia check on that. Linden walked away and don't look to be too concerned, but we'll have to watch that on the next possession. Carpel will kick off for the third time. The John Handley Judges, 12-0. There's the kick again, a wobbly kick taken by Clayball at the 15. Cuts out to the left side, has some running room, and he's brought down by Jerome Brooks. It looks like they call him face masking. 3 penalty markers all over the field. It looks like Brooks was a little bit high, and we'll have to wait for the call from the officialing crew today. Tackle at the 25-yard line. It'd be the best field position for Gate City. Now they're going to move up after the personal foul, unless it will be nullified by a Gate City penalty. That's it. All 3 flags are apparently thrown for the same reason. Second penalty of the day, both against the Handley Judges. Before it was on offense for movement, and this time a high face mask against the personal foul against the Judges. Jerome Brooks made the tackle, and now they move from the 25 up to the 40. We'll see how the Judges' defense handle this.
Brooks over-pursued him a little on the tackle, even though he made the tackle, grabbed the face mask. That gives 15 yards to the Blue Devils. Pretty good field position on their 41.
T formation. Handley showing some pressure. Back to pass. Tips away from the intended receiver, McClellan. Matt McClellan on the coverage is Adam Braithwaite for the John Handley Judges. They lined up in the T formation there, and Josh Shoemaker hasn't been on the field that long, only 2 times for a short period, and we've got almost 8 minutes gone in this first quarter. The Handley Judges lead at 12-0.
Good defensive coverage by the Handley Judges. Adam Braithwaite there, the sophomore, got in, tipped the ball away, and it was incomplete.
Gate City working from the 40-yard line, 2nd and 10. Same formation. T formation for the Blue Devils. The pitch to the right side. Play ball gets nowhere. Handley stops him. It'll be 3rd and long. Puts Gate City in a passing situation. Stephon Johnson over there, as was Jason LaRue on the left side for the Handley Judges. Michael Partlow on the sidelines. He's up off the bench, tending to his right passing hand, I believe.
That's the hand that was probably hit on that run play where he picked up 10 yards in the previous set of downs. He's back up off the bench, though, so that's a good sign. Even though he's holding, he's got a towel on it, but he looks to be all right.
Full house formation. Play ball gets up through the middle, but he's going to be short of the first down. Across the 45 up to the 46.5-yard line for Gate City. We'll see what they do here. Their puncher is Joey McBryant. He's not on the field. Well, now he comes on the field. There he is. McBryant, the last one on the field. Back deep for the Judges. Danny Westfall and Michael Partlow. They stand inside their 30, backing up near their 25. The twin safeties set to receive the punt. Second time Gate City has had a punt today in as many tries. They didn't get a 3rd attempt at any kind of a punt. They turned the ball over.
First punt by Gate City was 30 yards. Westfall called the fair catch, caught it at his own 40. Better field position punting-wise for Gate City here, as he'll punt it from his 33-yard line.
3 minutes to go. 12-0. Handley leads it. We're still in the first quarter. There's the snap. It's clean. He gets off the punt high, not very far. It's going to bounce outside the 30, but go inside near the 21-yard line, and that's going to be Handley's deepest position. They'll have to start out all afternoon long. Partlow is back on the field, but he looks like he's favoring the right passing hand. So you'd think they're going to come out and maybe run this first play and maybe see what they can do on the ground.
That's what you would think, but you never know. He looks to be all right, so they might think that Gate City, use a little reverse psychology, that Gate City might think he is hurt, but he's in there on the first set here, and he's calling the plays from the line as they go with that no-huddle offense. A 4-4 defense played by the Gate City defenders.
2:48 to go in the first quarter. 12-0 Handley starting off from the 21. Kern, 25 up near the 28-yard line. So he did run, and if they can get success out of the run like that, they'll be in good shape to give Partlow a little rest with his hand. But sometimes when you're hand off, you're having just as much pressure on the hand between having the ball and shoving it in Trey Kern's gut.
And the handoff can be a tricky thing today with a wet football. Even though they're rotating footballs in every play, being dried on the sidelines, that ball still gets wet when it's placed down on the ground.
Handley on their third possession. They've scored on their first two. Off the left side, Kern for the first down and more. Tackled at the 40-yard line. Jake Housewright and Lindsey Fisher, the end and linebacker, on that side. They're going to mark it inside the 40, but it is a first down for the John Handley Judges, I believe number 3 or 4. Number 4 on the night. And you see the field conditions. The reason it's been raining all day long, but if you look at the puddles, it appears it has stopped a little bit. Temperatures in the 50s. They practice on this field, and I think that's caused some of the problem here all day. It's beat up all year long. Partlow surveying the line. 4 men up on the line. Linebackers drop off with the corners. Partlow has time. Sprints out to the right. Fires. High ball, but can't come down with it. Danny Westfall. Intended for Westfall on the coverage. Jake Housewright for the Gate City Blue Devils. Going for Nick Colobro's first title. He's going for his 100th victory. Ron Linden, excellent career with the Handley Judges, better than 66-67% winning percentage, and going after his second state title. Some don't get one in a lifetime.
Big day for the Handley Judges and Ron Linden going for that second title. They're rolling Brian Partlow out some to give him some more time, buy him some time, buy his running mates, his receivers some time to get down the field on these muddy, wet conditions.
Looks like the officials hold it. 1:45 to go in the first quarter. 12-0 to John Handley Judges. Thank some of our sponsors along the way for making this telecast possible. Lamar Sloan Ford and First Union Bank. Partlow looking over as he got slot to the right. Trey Kern in the backfield. Back to pass. Couple steps drop over the middle. Partlow couldn't come up with it. He just slowed up. The ball got out there faster than the receiver did. And it will bring up a 3rd down and 10 situation.
Good pressure up front by the Gate City defenders. Put a little pressure on him that time. That's what they want to do. They want to get some rush up the middle that will come straight at him. Not a lot of blitzing right now. They're going man-to-man out on the wideouts, Westfall and Partlow.
Partlow looking to the bench. His father, I believe, called Jerry Partlow, of course, in the traditional sleeveless shirt. He calls the formations. Derek Dowry calls the offensive plays. Partlow signaling to his receivers and his brothers. I'm not sure if that's a checkoff play or not. Back to pass. Some pressure underneath. The Kern can't come up with it. That was caused by the pressure, but Partlow did get it off, and Kern can just not come up with the ball behind the line of scrimmage. And I'll bring up 4th down, and looks like Handley will have to punt this time. They only punt about 1 time a game in the playoffs.
4th and 10. Good thing that pass was knocked down because there was a slew of Gate City Blue Devil defenders around Trey Kern. He would have been brought down for little or no gain on that pass play.
So the 3rd possession, Craig, for the first time, I can't remember the last time when they were stalled like that. 5 plays on their 3rd possession, no points. High snap, Partlow grabs it out of the air and gets the punt off, but it's blocked. It's blocked, but it's going to get off the midfield, partially blocked. And the man who got a piece of it looks like to be down hurt for the Gate City Blue Devils. Getting up slowly, Brian Burke. one of the interior linemen rushing the ball on the punter. They did get a piece of it. You could tell how it went off in the air.
The ball was deflected, only went 11 yards net on the punt. Was not fielded by the Gate City defenders. A flag down on the play near where Michael Partlow punted the football, and now they're talking it over at midfield.
Bringing the ball back. So apparently there will be a penalty against Gate City as they drop the ball right in the puddle. 1:29 to go. We're still in the first quarter. Things have slowed down here on a rainy, soggy afternoon in Gate City, Virginia, and Scott County. So they just wanted to dry off the ball or get a new one.
Looks like they called a roughing the punter, 15 yards, first down for Handley.
Okay.
Big penalty here against Gate City.
You called that, and I was just a little confused. They brought the ball back and were slow to react, and like you had said, wow, mark that down, 1:29, and I guess you can nullify what I had said about the stalled drive. Just when I spoke, Gate City, with 4 men up on the line and showing some pressure. Partlow back to pass, looks for the timing route to his brother, right side. Intercepted by Clayball. Clayball is at the 25, across the 30, 35, up to the 40, left side, running down the field. So after the Handley judges get a break with the penalty, they turn it over. A rare interception off the right hand of Michael Partlow.
Yeah, the timing pattern there as Partlow went down the sidelines trying to come back toward the football. The ball thrown in upfield. Clayball was there. He made the catch on it. Michael Partlow had to turn into a defender. He couldn't hit him until the ball was caught, and he couldn't get to it to knock it down. And they're bringing an injured player off the field right now for the Handley judges.
Kevin McKinley. They're just trying to get him off. Hope he's okay. It's, of course, before it said Michael was Brian Partlow. He looks to be hurting there. McKinley. Looks like a shoulder. He's bending over. And he's grimacing in pain. Gate City now starts out with their third possession. T formation. Handley crowding the line. On the running play, Gibson off the left side. Jerome Brooks on the tackle. Up near the 48, 49-yard line of Gate City. $12-0 as the winding clock goes below 30 seconds in the opening quarter of the state championship game in Group AA Division III. Gate City in the blue, Handley in the white. Working from the far side. T formation. Go back to the old days. Gibson off the left side, knocked down by the high line of scrimmage. Vipperman was the first one there to stop the possible first down if he got behind the interior line. Good stop by the John Handley judges interior line. And Andy Vipperman.
Jerome Brooks also in there on the hit in the backfield to put the hit also on Kevin Gibson.
Going to do it for the quarter, it looks like. Both teams head to their sidelines. The end of the first quarter, the John Handley judges have the lead, 12-0. First touchdown. Trey Kern went over the left side at the 5:20 mark of the first quarter. The two-point conversion from a pass was no good because they bobbled the snap on the extra point. Trey Kern went over from 5 yards out, making it 6-0. Westfall had trouble on the wet day with the snap, decided to keep it and run and try to pass to Michael Partlow near the end, but was incomplete, 6-0. And then a little bit later, they turned it over. Andy Vipperman came up with the fumble recovery for the John Handley judges, and they went in to score. Danny Westfall, 10-yard touchdown, and it was the run by Partlow afterward was short. He got banged up a little bit on that play, so that's where we stand at 12-0. Gate City had some trouble turning the ball over after kickoffs. Our broadcast being brought to you today, the telecast in part by Kern Toyota and F&M Bank. Gate City with the ball. Quarterback sneak. Looks to be close. Depends on where they mark it. Appears that he has the first down, but it depends where they mark the ball. It was a third down situation, and they didn't have much to go, and Shoemaker on the quarterback sneak to open the second quarter of play in the state championship game with Handley with the 12-0 lead. Kern and Westfall with the touchdowns.
No surprises thus far, really, here through one period. The Gate City Blue Devils going with their running attack. Josh Shoemaker only thrown one pass. He's 0 for 1. The Handley Judges mixing it up well with the passing game along with the running of Trey Kern. Kern 7 carries for 34 yards in the first period. Brian Partlow, the quarterback, 2 carries for 10 yards. And passing, Brian Partlow, 3 for 11, 34 yards.
They get the first down, as you see. 11:50 to go, second quarter, 12-0. Gate City's second first down. They had some running before from Gibson. Now checking into the game for the Gate City Blue Devils is Wes Ford. They can throw the ball, but they throw for about 1,000 yards. Shoemaker, and on the ground, they're basically a running team. Last man through, the fullback Gibson gets a bunch inside Handley territory for the first time today. Across midfield up near the 46-yard line of John Handley. For the first time today, Gate City in Judges territory in the state championship game. That's McClendon checking into the game at a split end for the Blue Devils.
I believe that's the first time they went with that full house backfield. 3 men in the backfield. That's providing 2 blocking backs for Kevin Gibson as he bowled his way through the center of the Handley defensive line.
Did that a little bit earlier in the first quarter. 11:02, second quarter. Gibson's got some running room, first down and more. A hole up the middle of the field. Gibson gets the first down up to the 35 of the Handley Judges, gaining a little bit of momentum here with the home crowd, although the Handley faithful strong here as well. As you see, you're looking at a shot of the Gate City sidelines, but Handley just is full on this near side in the state championship game. They brought down 2 full charter buses for the folks in Winchester. The team came down Friday through the day and stopped off. Now Shoemaker underneath center again. Gibson, Handley on it. Whenever they seem to give up a chunk of yardage, they'll come back, and not many teams get those 1 or 2 or 3 quick big plays in a row. Handley will rise up on the defense, and getting off the bottom of the pile, Vipperman, Steve Nelson, and Brooks were also there for the Handley Judges. Ball inside, that's the 35-yard line you're looking at. 10:19 on the turning clock, second quarter, first half of play. John Handley leads it 12-0, but Gate City, a little bit of a threat here.
Yeah, they're moving the ball on the ground, going with that running game. Kevin Gibson now 6 carries, 27 yards. They're mainly going up the middle on the muddy field.
Handley and 5 men up on the line of scrimmage. In motion. Give to Gibson. Gets across down near the 31-yard line to the middle of the field. Middle of the mud bath. Jason LaRue getting off the bottom of the pile for John Handley. They lead it 12-0 state championship game in Gate City, Virginia, Scott County. A good 6-hour drive, 6-7-hour drive from the Winchester area right down 81 to the Tennessee border, and then you cut back across back in Virginia and Gate City. The Handley Judges have 12 points on this afternoon. They average 41 for the year, 33 in playoff action. Gate City only scores 2 touchdowns a game, Craig, and it's a little less than that in the playoffs.
Yeah, they don't give up much. They don't score a lot. They're a consistent football team, and they're going with that ground game today as their major offensive attack.
That ground game averages 226 yards to help out the offense. In motion. Goes to Claybaugh, back to pass for the first time. Complete, short of the first down, I believe. Nice tackle there by Adam Braithwaite. Still stopping short of the... Now they do give him the first. Depending on the far side of the field, how they're going to mark that or where he stepped out or was knocked out. Gate City comes in with almost 2,000 yards rushing, 1,950, and they're showing it in this drive, Craig.
4 downs in the contest now for Gate City. That's Josh Shoemaker's first completion. He's 1 for 2 for 5 yards. They've picked up 3 first downs now on this drive.
Matt McClellan out to the left side there underneath the center with the full house. The 2 blocking backs ahead of the fullback is usually the reverse order. Give to the fullback Gibson, knocked out of bounds. LaRue and Braithwaite on the tackle for Handley. The ball is now down near the 20-yard line. So as Gate City keeps the drive alive, it's the deepest they've been in Handley territory, threatening with 8:29 and Handley try to come up with this is what they want to avoid, chewing up the clock. So far, Gate City, of course, still in the ball game, 12-0, but this is their game with what I'm talking about there. This is what they want to do, this ball control. And if they can score a touchdown here, they would be happy, but see what the defense can do from Handley. Shoemaker underneath the center, same formation, different receiver. Give to Gibson, the big fullback. Nelson jumping on to finish off the tackle after Gibson was hit low. It's going to be short of the first down. Bring up third. Will be fourth and short. Third and 2. Clock winding down there, 8 minutes of the first half of the state championship game.
This is what Coach Nick Calabro wants out of his Blue Devils. He wants to run the game, chew up time on that clock, keep the ball out of the potent Handley offense, and that's what they're doing on this drive as we're under 8 minutes left to go here in the second period.
Started in the first quarter, and then it went over, and now it's continuing. Gives to Gibson again, off the right tackle. Tripped up there. Jerron Smith coming up. That is his number with the dirty jersey. Now before they get another first down, get the first down after the short situation. It's Jamie Jones on the tackle, number 80. Now the number has become worn. Gate City in the huddle, 7:35 to go, 12-0. Handley, as Gate City driving in Handley territory, inside the 15, timeout on the field. Timeout called, Gate City. Nick Calabro coming out on the field for the Gate City Blue Devils.
Their first time out of the contest. No timeouts yet taken by Handley into the second quarter. They're up 12-0 here with 7:25 left to go in the second. Coach Ron Linden probably telling his defense right now to tighten up in the middle. They're going with that interior run game. Kevin Gibson, the bulk there, 10 carries now for 42 yards.
Still a light miss as they just pan to the crowd. A light miss still here and falling in Gate City, although it was a little harder this morning. It's been raining all day long, and that's what the forecast called for.
Of the two, you'd probably rather have the wetness or the cold than the wetness. The wetness making it tough to pass the ball, tough to catch the ball, and that's hampering the Judges' offense thus far here somewhat in the first half. They've had to go with the running game a little more than usual, but Trey Kern getting some decent yardage. He's got 7 carries, 34 yards, so he's well on his way to what he did last week, and hopefully he can put up a lot more yardage here if the Judges can hold defensively.
Handley hasn't played in the rain all year long. First and 10 situation, second quarter, 7:25 to go. Judges by 2 touchdowns, but missed the conversion, so it's 12-0. Gibson off the left side, runs into his old man. So he gets some help from Handley, but he still gets down inside the 10, down near the 6-yard line of the Judges. Nelson comes up with the tackle for the Handley Judges from his left end position. What do you see different now, Craig, where they're working up the middle, where Handley, actually they never had an opportunity to work their offense with the turnovers. Handley stopped them on the first possession, and then Gate City turned it over, and now this is their longest drive and most successful of the ball game, and they're having success up the middle.
Right now their offensive line creating big holes to run through, and Gibson's getting through there with 2 blocking backs in front of him out of that backfield, blowing some big holes in the Handley Judge defensive line.
6-yard line, they're not in yet. Gives to Gibson off the right side to clown his way. No indication yet, short of the goal line. And stacked up by Handley, but it's awful close. Gate City gets another first down. So they'll have 4 opportunities to get a touchdown from the goal line. 6:30 to go on the turning clock. Handley 12, Gate City nothing. Looks like they could be an interesting ball game. All of a sudden it was 6-0 Handley. They got the turnover. That turned into 12-0. And Handley was stopped by the Gate City Blue Devils. They punted, got the ball back on a roughing the penalty punter, but then Partlow threw an interception. Now a touchdown on the quarterback sneak for Jason Shoemaker and the Gate City Blue Devils. Shoemaker on the touchdown for the blue and white of Gate City here at Legion Field, making the score. The Handley Judges 12 and the Gate City Blue Devils 6. Important conversion here, Craig. Let's see what they do. That's McClellan.
Yeah, they'll kick it. That'll get them within 5 points.
Ball is down. The kick is through. They cut it to 5 with 6:09 to go in the half. The John Handley Judges 12 and the Gate City Blue Devils 7, as you see it there. A long drive for Gate City helps out with a lot of running from fullback Kevin Gibson. Almost picking up 53 yards, 50-some yards on the drive, culminating in a 1-yard dive and touchdown from quarterback Shoemaker.
Now's where the Handley Judges special teams need to pick it up, get a good return back here, get some good field position for the Judges to start their 3rd or 4th offensive possession of the first half. Last week, their special team turned it over a couple times trying to get some extra yardage. You won't need that today in this field conditions. You want to be careful with the football and try not to turn it over.
That's the first time Shoemaker scored all year, Craig, on the ground. The quarterback, a sophomore. They went the route of what Handley did a couple of years ago, play the young sophomore and develop him instead of sticking in a senior. And they've been happy with him. He's been consistent. Gate City played a lot of strong competition all year, and we're told they played a lot bigger teams than Handley. But as everyone knows, Handley may not be the biggest, but they're strong and tough. And we'll see what they can do after the long ball control of Gate City. 8 up the clock. 6:09. Second quarter. 12-7. Handley still has the lead, and they'll get the ball back. Kickoff from McClellan. He kicks it over to the right side, taken there inside the 15. Got some room up near the middle and up near the 30-yard line. Jerron Smith.
Jerome Brooks on the return there. Good run back. Made a nice catch on the kickoff return and ran it back for a good return. Good, decent field position for the Judges.
I know it's 22. It's 42 with the mud-covered jerseys. We'll see what Brian Partlow can do now as they work from their 17, make that the 27. 1st and 10, 5:50 to go, second quarter. Handley gives to Kern off the left side. Gets across the 30 and more up near the 32-yard line. Has his knee touch there. He dove ahead and had the ball up near the 30 or 35. They say his knee touches at the 32. And it will bring up 2nd and 6 for the Handley Judges. Kern, just a simple play off the left side. He's had some success here in this afternoon's game after not totally, but being shut down at Nottoway last week, but the passing game took over. You got to consider the weather conditions as you look at the slop-covered field. Again, Kern, that time he's wrapped up, and right there for the tackle, Brian Burke from his tackle position, trying to get the Gate City crowd fired up, knocked back to the 30-yard line, a loss on the play.
Yeah, after the punt interference play on the Gate City Blue Devils, Handley had that 15-yard penalty, then the interception. The momentum's changed here a little bit here midway. As we get late into the second period, it's now swung back to the Gate City Blue Devils.
3rd and 7. Kern on 2 running plays, 1 for a gain, and he basically lost what he gained the first time. 3rd and 7. Partlow with the speed, rolling out to his right. Looks to the Danny Westfall, cuts, he's going to break the receivers, no, and hangs on the ball. You see how he covered the ball, Craig? A couple of times last week, you can't blame the kids for that extra effort, but Westfall had fumbled the ball trying to get more yardage, and that time, once Gate City surrounded him, he covered up the ball and tried to keep his feet moving, and a first down for the Handley into across the 45-yard line for the Judges on the pass play, a pickup of about 17 yards. Now Westfall has 27 on 2 receptions. Receivers left and right. Michael Partlow, a flanker. See what they do here. He's really off the line of scrimmage back there. Now he moves up. Turn the fullback. 4:21, 12-7. Handley, quick pitch. Kern hit hard. Jake Housewright, 6'2", 175 pounds. He's a freshman. He's going to be around for a while. Gate City has several freshmen on the roster. It's just they have no freshman team and have a JV program. Just not a lot of people in the area of 2,200. Not a lot of young men to choose from.
Housewright not fooled by that play. He read that play perfectly, and Kern got the handoff from Brian Partlow and was sacked on the play for 2 yards loss. A great defensive play by Gate City. The change here, what I'm seeing from Handley, rather than running the fade and timing pattern, they're running some quick outs and comebacks to the ball, giving Partlow a little more touch on it, and he can hit his man and see him set up. Westfall wide open on that reception.
Braithwaite is in the slot to the left. 3:39 to go, first half. Handley on top by 5. Pass behind the receiver. Maybe a little bit of pressure or confusion there. So not after, it's due to the field conditions, I imagine. Partlow were really sharp last week, and things aren't clicking right now as the judges would like. And sometimes what happens, they're so used to it, Coach Ron Linden says they get frustrated. The coaches relax and say just, you're up by 5, relax and try to pick away with it. But the players seem to get frustrated being so used to the success with the pass-run game.
Yeah, you might not have the big breakaway plays today, as you've seen in the past, due to this wet, soggy field. The plays and pass patterns have to be run a little more gingerly to keep your footing.
3rd and 12, big play here. Speaking of footing, Partlow slipping a little bit. Intercepted after the tip off Kern's hands at midfield. Second interception. After having 7 on the year, that may not have happened all year long, Craig. 2 picks in 1 game. Off the arm of, that wasn't his fault, tipped off. Was it Kern with the muddy field? Matt Clayball with the interception. Second one of the day from Brian Partlow. One of the Clayball twins. Ball thrown from one twin, caught on by another twin on the opposite side of the ball. Clock winding down there. 3 minutes to go in the half. Gate City inside Handley territory. Wing left. To be a running play. Fake. Some little bit of pressure underneath, and Handley stops them behind the line of scrimmage. Good pursuit there by the judges. They had it all covered. Good job. Stephon Johnson for the Handley judges. He'll be back next year. The junior, they've got more returning on defense than offense. The 6-foot, 155-pound junior, one of 5 returning starters next year for the Handley judges. Final game of the year. Group AA Division III State Championship, where the Handley judges jumped out top of Gate City 12-0. Gate City has come back to score 7, so Handley up by 5, 2:52 to go, and apparently by the sound of the crowd there will be a penalty walked off on the Gate City Blue Devils. It's going to be a big one, 15 yards.
Their second 15-yarder of the contest.
Last time Handley couldn't take advantage of it, it was on a roughing the punter play, and on the very next play after the 15-yard penalty, Handley threw an interception. That was a penalty from the Gate City defense. This time, the personal foul and 15 yards pushes Gate City back to their own 35 after they're across midfield. Play ball in motion, gives to Gibson, right side, gets across the 40, maybe to the 41-yard line. Flags are down. Looks like some little extracurricular activity now on both sides. From the looks of the Gate City bench and the way they reacted, it was on Handley. We'll wait and see as the judges gather around the officiating crew.
Crowd players both getting more involved. The intensity is picked up here in the second period. Face masking against the judges, a personal foul. And that'll be 15 yards marked off against the judges. So that'll put them basically right back where they started 2 plays ago.
Instead of a 2nd and 26, it's a 1st and 10 inside Handley's 45-yard line. Gate City has the ball. They trail by 5, 12-7. 2.5 minutes to go, winding down there, 2.5 minutes. In the opening half from Gate City, Virginia. In motion comes play ball. Followed by Jerron Smith. Back to pass. Handley coming with pressure. Underneath screen to Gibson. Gibson's going to be short of the first down. Good tackle by Handley. Wayne Borden was there, and another flag being thrown on the play. Did they come in late again? Handley didn't think they did. After stopping him short of the first down, judges could be penalized. game's being brought to you in part this afternoon by O'Sullivan Corporation, the Jefferson National Bank, Mobile Jeffy Mart. Philadelphia Communications presentation being brought to you live. The John Handley Judges 12, the Gate City Blue Devils 7 with 2:20 to go in the half, but the Blue Devils were the last to score, and now they're driving with the help of 2 personal foul penalties, and they've got the momentum, and Handley's getting frustrated.
Personal foul, face mask on the previous one, now a 15-yarder personal foul, late hit against the Judges. That's 30 yards in penalties now on this drive.
So the comments were, one way Handley could lose is beat themselves. And there's a couple of unnecessary penalties. Gibson off the right side, there they go. They rise up Jamie Jones to wrap up Gibson from behind. Jones had a great game last week, having a good year for the Judges defense. Inside backer playing really well, 5'11", 175-pound junior for the Judges. Jones had a good game through the playoffs and late in the year. Timeout on the field. Gate City takes another time to talk things over. It's 2nd and 9, and the ball at the 25-yard line of Handley. Inside the 25. Handley comes over to the sidelines during the timeout. Give Jones 30 tackles. Now he's got more than 53, over the 53 mark on the year for Jamie Jones. Timeout on the field from Gate City, Virginia. 1:45 to go. It's been a slow first half. Bears some penalties now to slow things down in the late going. Handley started out quick. They weren't particularly sharp on their opening drive, but they got it in for the 6-0 lead as the point after failed. Then they came back with a turnover, and they took advantage of it, 12-0. Now Gate City has taken advantage of a turnover from Brian Partlow, and they scored, and now they're trying to look to do that again on another interception. Partlow has thrown 2 today, uncharacteristic. Gives to Gibson, right side. Met at the line, he gets a couple over the right side, inside the 25, down there the 22-yard line on the mud and slop. Scott County, Gate City, Virginia, down there, Tennessee. It'll bring up 3rd down and 8. More, it looks like 7 there. They've got 8 on the scoreboard. Now they change it to 7.
The thing in favor of the Judges right now is we get near just over 1:20 left here in the first half. The time is ticking, and that time keeps ticking as they run the football here.
Are they taking too much time? Maybe their own worst enemy. Wing left, Shoemaker the quarterback on the play action. Picked off by Handley's Michael Partlow. There it is. They needed a big play on defense. Partlow picks it off inside the 10 and returns it to the 10. Short return on the interception, and there it is. 1:01 to go after just stumbling. They almost know it's going to come, Craig. They just sit back, and they were struggling with the run in the last couple of possessions. Of course, personal foul penalties helped out Gate City, and there it is. Less than a minute to go in the half, and we talked about it. Did Gate City have enough time? Now watch Handley with timeouts left, 50 seconds. See if they can get some points out of this.
Gate City had 1 timeout left. I don't know why they went to the pass there. They had over a minute left.
Got 90 yards to go. They keep it on the ground. They don't try to maybe look to regroup. They don't stop the clock yet. It's running at 35, and Handley's going to be content, it looks like, to go into the locker room at halftime with a 12-7 lead. Barring any disasters or mistakes, now they take time. That must be Gate. The clock is still winding. There were whistles on the field. The clock stopped at 25. Then it continued to wind, just as they placed the ball. But the officials are still in the middle of the field. No timeouts. Handley just going to be content. They may even just take a knee, but they haven't done that in the past. But with the wet field, clock still winding, they're just going to take the delay game and just be satisfied and go into the locker room. There it is. The end of the first half with the John Handley Judges leading it by a score of 12-7. So Gate City giving them the toughest test as Handley had all season long in the state championship game, as Handley scores both of their touchdowns in the first quarter, and Gate City comes back in the second quarter as we're at halftime. This broadcast is being brought to you by Lamar Sloan Ford, First Union Bank, Kern Toyota, F&M Bank, O'Sullivan Corporation, the Jefferson National Bank, Mobile Jiffy Mart, the Philadelphia Communications Sports live presentation. We're at halftime. The John Handley Judges 12 and the Gate City Blue Devils 7.
We'll look at the halftime numbers early on here. Kevin Gibson, the leading rusher for Gate City, 14 carries, 56 yards. Hank Claybaugh, 3 carries, 10 yards. Josh Shoemaker with a quarterback, 1 carry for 2 yards. They passed it 3 for 4 for 14 yards. Brian Partlow rushing the ball for the Handley Judges, 2 for 10. Trey Kern, their leading ground gainer, 11 carries, 38 yards. On the passing side, Brian Partlow, 4 for 13, 2 interceptions for 51 yards. Receiving, Michael Partlow, 2 for 24. Danny Westfall, 2 for 21. And that's the extent of the Handley Judge receiving corps here in the first half. A little quick look at the numbers.
Looking at scoring from the first half of play with the Handley Judges being battled here by the Gate City Blue Devils. Trey Kern started off the scoring on Handley's opening possession of the game with a 5-yard run off the left side at the 5:20 mark of the opening quarter of this Group AA Division III state championship game. On the attempted point-after touchdown, with the field conditions and the ball wet, it was a little bad of stat. Westfall had trouble. He decided not to place it down. He took off running to the right side and was going to throw a little bit of a pass and then complete it for a 2-point conversion, but Michael Partlow was out of the end zone, and the score ended up at 6-0. After the kickoff, where Gate City bobbled the opening kickoff, and then Handley stopped them, and that's when Handley had good position. That first drive was 40 yards. Handley had great field position to open up the 6-0 lead. On Gate City's next possession, they had trouble again on the kicking team. The deep safety actually ran past the ball on the second kickoff from Handley, and he had a backtrack. And then from the first play from scrimmage in Gate City's second possession, a fumble recovery, Andy Vipperman, first one of the year, and it turned around with Danny Westfall with a 10-yard touchdown, and the run trying to go for the 2 points and get it back on even numbers to 14, failed by Brian Partlow. And he banged up his hand a little bit. Didn't show any ill effects, but I think it still may be bothering him a little bit in that first quarter as Partlow tried the 2-point conversion and failed at 4:42. You see the track and the wet conditions here in Gate City, Virginia, and Scott County. It's 12-7 at halftime. Handley in for a battle, but in a way they've dug themselves a hole with the, Gate City started running the ball the latter part of the first quarter and into the second quarter, and as Gate City got going, they scored the 7 points, got the ball back again on an interception. They scored off the Brian Partlow interception the first time. Then after Partlow threw another interception, Gate City took somewhat of a long, lengthy drive, but was aided by a few personal foul penalties by Handley, and then Handley stopped them on the Michael Partlow interception, very important, so Gate City didn't capitalize on Handley's second turnover.
Yeah, turnovers on both sides have been indicative of these bad field conditions, the tough weather conditions on the field, making it tough to control the football passing-wise and even holding on to it on the returns. The 2 fumbles by the Gate City team, Vipperman recovered 1, and Michael Partlow with that interception ticked off their other turnover. On the offensive side of the football, a couple numbers for you. I've totaled up the offense. Rushing the ball, Handley, 13 carries for 48 yards in the first half. Passing the ball, Brian Partlow, 4 for 13, 2 interceptions for 51 yards, 99 total offensive yards for Handley in the first half. For the Gate City Blue Devils, 20 rushes, 69 yards. Passing the ball, Josh Shoemaker, 3 for 4, 1 interception for 14 yards, a total of 83 offensively.
We're at halftime. The score, the John Handley Judges 12 and the Gate City Blue Devils 7. And now we'll enjoy the John Handley Judges marching band live from Gate City in Scott County. We're at halftime in the state championship. Sit back and enjoy the marching band from Winchester and John Handley High School.